Hey everyone! I'm in the middle of working on the next What Else I Saw video, which is taking me a ridiculously long time because, unlike last month when I had a stroke of genius, I did not jot down any little notes about the movies I watched after I watched them. So now I'm trying to remember what exactly did I think about that movie, and I'm gathering pictures for the video, and you don't know this, but that always sends me on all these rabbit trails. For every movie I look up, I think I find like 3 new movies that I want to check out, which is good because that means I will have more things to watch and review, but it does make things take a lot longer. So, in the meantime, here is hopefully a quick video talking about some books that I've read in the last few months, and I hope you'll find it interesting. The first one was a young adult book called Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver, about a girl who was killed in a car accident, but then she wakes up and finds herself reliving the same day over and over. It's a Groundhog Day plot, basically, except it's about teenagers and bullying, and it's pretty depressing, actually. I'm honestly not sure if I liked it or not. There were an awful lot of things that reminded me how much I did not enjoy being a teenager. And I think that's why I don't read a whole lot of young adult stuff anymore. I lived through that, and I don't want to keep revisiting it over and over. Those weren't glory days or anything. I don't even know how I came across this book. I didn't find it on my own, but I can't remember if I heard about it from someone or if it... I don't know, it was there. Book number 2 is The Disaster Artist, My Life Inside the Room, the Greatest Bad Movie Ever Made by Greg Sestero with Tom Bissell. This book was recently adapted into a movie that you might have heard about. I have not seen the movie, nor have I really seen The Room, but I have seen parts of it, and I've watched reviews of it, so I'm familiar enough with it to follow along in the chapters that talk about the filming of The Room. Personally, I don't think it's completely necessary to have seen The Room in order to enjoy the book, since so much of it is about Sestero's bizarre, uneven, and unpredictable friendship with that mysterious auteur, Tommy Wiseau. I liked the book. It was super funny in parts, and there were some incidents and descriptions that made me laugh really hard. And yet there is a point where it takes a turn and things aren't so funny anymore, and if you think about the fact that this stuff really happened, at least if you take Greg's word for it, then it's suddenly a little disturbing. But it does end on a bittersweet, strangely poignant note, and I enjoyed it. Book number 3 is a Kasie West young adult book. See, I do still read young adult occasionally, called By Your Side, about a girl who accidentally gets locked in the public library over a long weekend with a guy from her school who has a bad reputation, but surprise, he has a heart of gold. Yeah, the premise is pretty silly. How on earth do you get locked in a public facility like that? But whatever, ignore logic and just have fun with it. It's a fluffy, cute, funny story, even though I'm slightly appalled that the girl barely read any books while she was stuck there. What a wasted opportunity! It kind of turns into an issue book. The main character has an anxiety disorder, and none of her friends know about it, which led to some frustrating situations. I do kind of question that none of her friends are aware that some of the things they do make her uncomfortable, make her want to freak out. I mean, I'm an anxious person, and I would have said that my closest high school friends were at least marginally aware of that, but, you know, maybe they weren't. I didn't really go around telling people whenever I was nervous, which was basically all the time, so it is possible, I think, to fake it. I spent a lot of time faking that I was more comfortable than I really was. And now I'm reminded again, twice in one video, of how much I did not enjoy high school. Ugh. Book number 4 is I'll Be Gone in the Dark, One Woman's Obsessive Search for the Golden State Killer by Michelle McNamara. So, I finished this book about this notorious, unsolved serial rapist turned killer case on Sunday the 22nd. And on Wednesday the 25th, after 40 years, they arrested the guy. What? This posthumously published book is about McNamara's relentless hunt to find the identity of a man known as the East Area Rapist and the original Night Stalker, who she dubbed the Golden State Killer, who haunted the state of California in the 70s and 80s and was never caught until now. McNamara had a passion for true crime and obsessively pursued the Golden State Killer right up to her untimely death in 2016. The book was recently finished and published and has been on the bestseller list for the last few weeks. It's an incredibly creepy, unnerving story, and McNamara doesn't spare any details. I quickly learned that this was not the kind of thing that I could read in bed, because then I would lie there in the dark and just start imagining things and hearing noises and getting spooked, and it was just not a good thing for me. It's definitely something that I would caution you about if you are uber paranoid, unless you're a paranoid person and you like to be spooked. But I thought it was a good book, very engrossing, and as far as whether or not it loses any of its power and effectiveness now that we know who the guy is, he's been caught, I don't know. I think time will tell. The details of the case are still harrowing. Book number 5, I remember being very popular when it came out, and it has a lot of fans, but don't get too excited because I didn't like it. It's The Time Traveler's Wife by Audrey Niffenegger. I didn't like the characters, any of them, but especially not Henry, who's kind of a creep. I didn't like the pretentious tangents, and I didn't like the writing. The narrative alternates between the two main characters the whole time, back and forth, but the differentiation between their voices was mostly non-existent. I think the premise had potential, but I just did not enjoy the execution at all. So, sorry if you're watching this and you're a fan of that book. I hate doing negative reviews, and this is why. Let's move on. Book number 6, the last one I'm going to talk about today, I just finished this morning and am still processing. It's Annihilation by Jeff Vandermeer, the first book in the Southern Reach trilogy. This is a sci-fi book published in 2014 that reminded me of Alien and The Thing and another sci-fi horror classic that I'm not gonna name because that might give something away. It actually most reminded me of the novella that The Thing is based on, Who Goes There by John W. Campbell Jr., in that the writing style is very clinical and scientific and stripped of any sensational or emotional quality, even when some pretty freaky things are happening. I spent a lot of time wondering what is going on here, and I don't really feel that the book answered that question. It just sort of ends. It demands that you continue on reading with the next book, which I think I will do, especially if the other two in the trilogy are as short and manageable as this one was, since I do want to know what's going on and what is the bigger picture here. So that's a taste of the books that I read before and after reading Middlemarch. I hope you enjoyed the mini reviews, and stay tuned because that What Else I Saw video should be coming up soon. Thank you so much for watching.